Hello and welcome to Erudite. In this video we'll be making a program that can monitor stock prices. So my wife has asked me to prepare a program that will allow her to set stock alerts. We tend to do the research on a stock and set a good price, so if the stock gets to there we can buy some, so an alert would be helpful. So let's start by having a look at the file structure. We're going to have a main file and a class file with a StockAlert class that we're going to write up in a moment. Now in our main file, what we're going to want to do is just some simple boilerplate, which I'm going to race through very quickly, of setting up our Pygame visualization. So let's pop over to the terminal and we'll just see if this works. And there we can see that we've got our basic screen being displayed here. It's got nothing on it at the minute because, well, we haven't coded that, but it's coming up. We've got our Pygame window and it's nice and simply set up. So let's get back into the code. And what we're going to want to do is to be able to generate a series of stock alert objects, and we're actually going to create that from a dictionary. So let me just go into here and we're going to create the stock alert objects, and I'm just going to pull in a dictionary here. So we're going to use this dictionary setup where we have a key, which is the ticker symbol for the stock. Then we have the name of the stock here, so Google or Alphabet Limited, the name of the company I should say, and the price that we want the alert to trigger at. Now I haven't actually checked today, but when I was doing a little bit of practice, this was above the present price, so this flag should actually alert straight away. But these three shouldn't because they're all below the current price, I believe. So how are we going to create these alert objects? We're going to do the thing where we would set up alerts as a list, and then we'll append to that list, using the keys in that stocks dictionary, objects. And those objects we're going to have to actually create in a moment. So we're going to create a stock alert object, and we're just going to leave it like that for now because we're not 100% sure what we want to go in this stock alert object. We're going to start to populate this a little bit. So the first thing we can do is initialize or define this stock alert class, and we'll have our init function or our initializer function, which will take self, and it's going to take the ticker symbol so that it can carry out the search of the database, or it can through the API. So we're going to have something called symbol, and I want to make sure that's typeset to be a string. Not terribly precise at the minute, but it'll do for now. We'll have the name of the company, which we'll just call name, and we'll have that as a string. And we'll have an alert price, and that should be a float. So an alert price, float. So we've got three things going in there: symbol, name, and alert price. So what we can do then is say that self.symbol is equal to symbol, self.name is equal to name, and self.alert price is equal to the alert price. And we're also going to set something called the alert as equal to false, because it's not yet in an alert state, so it hasn't triggered. Once it triggers, that will become true and we can do something with it. But we're going to want to update this function. So we're going to want to write, this class. For each object, we want to be able to update itself to check whether the current price is the alert price or below the alert price, and then update the alert itself. So we're going to write this little update function, And we're going to need to import yfinance. Now, this is a super easy one to install. You can just use pip install yfinance. So we're going to import that as yf, just to make the typing a little bit cleaner and easier. And we're going to create a ticker, which is just an object in this library that allows you to access certain features or certain pieces of information. And we're going to send through that ticker as the search object the symbol, so that it knows what stock we are interested in looking at, and we're going to want to pull back the information from that. So the ticker will have all that information. Then we can take the current price and make that equal to ticker, and the dictionary of information that will come back to us will have a key called current price. So now we've established our current price with this update, we can say that if current price is less than or equal to self.alert price, then self.alert is equal to true, else self.alert is equal to false. And that's a nice little function that will enable us to update this little stock alert object when we want to, when we call that update. So we'll save this. We've got our little stock alert, and remember that it takes the symbol, the name, and the alert price. And in the dictionary, the symbol is the key. So we're going to want to send, here we go, that's the key there. So we're going to want to put the key as the symbol. We're going to have to want stocks key 0. So at the 0 position, that's the name, and stocks key 1 is the price that we've set that we're interested in. So now we've set up these alerts, we should be able to quickly search through them. So let's just make sure we can print out our alerts to the terminal. Let's save this. I'll just pop down here. Before we even execute the loop, we can just say something like, for alert in alerts, print alert.names. We should just get a nice list of company names, and afterwards we'll just exit. We don't need it to run the rest of the code. I think I didn't. Oh, I know what I did wrong. We haven't imported the class. It's in a separate file and we haven't imported it. So from class stock alert, import stock alert. So this should work now. Let's just clear up the terminal and run that again. And there you can see in the terminal it's printed out Alphabet Limited, Apple Incorporated, Tesla Incorporated, and Microsoft Corporation. So we're creating our objects, and we've got this nice update method in them that we can make use of, but we don't want to use it continuously. So we can get rid of this little bit of code here, and we'll place a counter here, which we'll set to 0. And we want to write an update method down here, where if the counter is greater than, let's say, 300. So remember, this is happening once a second, so 300 seconds is 5 minutes. Then we'll allow the alert to update. So for alert in alerts, alert.update. So that will call the update function. And then we set the counter equal to 0, just to start that whole process again. And if we're not greater than or equal to 300, we can just add 1 to the counter, like so. So we've set up that little update, but that doesn't actually show us anything. What we're going to do now is we're going to draw some circles that just represent each of the objects, and then we'll bring some text in a moment. So we're going to want, for alert in alerts, if alert.alert. So if the alert status, maybe I should call it status instead of alert. Let's do that. So if our alert status is true, so we have alerted, then our color will be equal to, and we'll just make it green, something nice and happy, I don't know. And otherwise, color can be sort of a grey, so that we know the alert isn't triggered yet. And then we can use Pygame to draw a circle using the screen object that we initialized earlier, the color, and we're going to need to think about the location. And I think the radius that we want for these, we want them to be, noticeable, so we'll put 10. But if I'm not mistaken, we want to be about 50 pixels in on the x-axis. But then for the y-axis, we've got to be careful because we'll just stack all of them on top of each other this way. We need to have the y-axis iterating. So actually I'm going to set a y up here equal to something like 40. And then we'll set that tuple, so where it's positioning the center of that circle is y, and then at the end we'll just add a bit to y. Initially there won't be any information from the API. So what we're going to want to do here is set our counter initially. We'll just cheat a bit and make it look like it's really close to update. So we'll put it 30 or maybe 20 seconds away from updating at 280. So it's just going to cycle for about 20 seconds and then it'll update and we'll see how things look. So let's save this and run the program. And there you can see we've got our 4 grey circles because none of them have yet hit their target. Now I should check actually quickly in a moment, but I'll let it have the 20 seconds and the top one should go green because I believe Google is still below this price. And there we go, the top one has gone green because that target price has been reached, or we're below it at least, so that in this instance, I'd be going, oh, yeah, okay, I want to buy some of that. I'm not telling you to buy some of that. This is purely an example. And like I said, I'm not a financial advisor in any way, shape or form. So that's working, but it's really, really basic. We want to put a bit of text on this display so that we can at least tell which company each of these little signal sort of LEDs represents. So let's add in some text. So in a lot of previous videos, we've made use of a function that we can basically use to call and draw the text for us, rather than constantly having to write out, creating an object and such to display the text in Pygame. So we'll create this function called draw text. And then we can go down and use it in our displaying of our objects. So here we can maybe create a string. Let's actually put it below here because we'll still use that Y to separate things. We can create a string that maybe says something like the alert.name, so that's the company name, and an alert price with the alert.alert price, and put a full stop after that. That's our bit of text prepared, and then we can use our method that we've just our function that we just wrote out, which says draw text, and we'll say string size about 20. We'll see if that works all right. The x-axis, because we want to be the other side of that circle, we'll put about 70 because we were about 50 pixels in for the circle, and it's got a 10 pixel radius, so we want to be a little bit further over. And then we'll set y as y and maybe make that white. So let's save this and see how it looks. There we go. Though these labels are a little bit low, so let's stop this and shift them. So let's just try taking off 5 to begin with. And let's run that again. And there we go. We can see the company name, the alert price that we set, and whether we've gone below or reached that alert price. And hopefully Alphabet Limited or Google will pop up here in just a few seconds as green. There you go. You can see that Alphabet is indeed below this price of $88 per share. So that's what I'm wanting to do at the minute. There's a couple of problems with this that we've already alluded to. This will run even when the exchanges are closed, so that's obviously inefficient. You only need to run when the exchanges are open to check. It will also run for each object that you want to set up an alert for, and that can of course get a bit cumbersome on the calls through the API to the servers if you've got lots and lots of alerts. So there's ways we can group that, and we might look at that in another video. But the other thing is that while this is all nice, my wife doesn't really want to have to look at a screen to get this information. What she wants is an email to come in when this price is hit, so that she can go over, have a look at the price and decide whether to buy. So that's what we're going to have a look at in the next video, linking this through to an email system so that we can, when this alert is triggered, send out an email to an inbox. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's a short video, I know, but I've not been feeling too great, so I just thought we'd begin having a little look at this topic. I hope you're having a lovely new year, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!